I feel like looking for Tumba for too much is actually starting to make Tristan go a little bit crazy. But I would love to see him dancing in the rain, though. That's one side that I've never, ever had. So bring it on, Tristan. I think we can all expect you to dance in the rain. That will be quite interesting. But yes, we are still looking at the Ingrid Dam female, which has not really moved all that much. But maybe we can try and have 5... Why it's nice to stick around when leopards are sleeping. What do you think, Bex? Should we try and attempt that? Maybe we should. Maybe we should just leave it for everyone to complete. I reckon enduring and building up patience would probably be the first point. Second point, what would you say it'd be? The opportunity of it waking up? The opportunity of it waking up and eating something? The opportunity to see all the trees that are around the leopard for it to sleep because you've got nothing else to look at. The opportunity to study its fluffiness. I like that one. That's a very good one. Yeah. To imprint on the spot pattern. I feel like this should be Tristan's conversation. But they are quite fluffy, although their hair is a little bit rough, and there you go. There we have some spots. So you see. Those ones not quite rosettes, because they're all full and colored in the inside. Very, very dark and black, unlike up there, as BM is showing everyone. Yaha! Got an itch there. Are the ticks biting you? Will the ticks finally get you to move? Yawning, yes! Oh, no, you don't look that awake just yet. Now, this is a very tense moment in my heart as I am really, really hoping. Okay, double yawn. That's also good. You see all her very powerful teeth in there. Okay, we've got all the potential good signs of an animal that wants to get a little bit more active. Oh, it's tough to call it because she's yawned so many times and then gone back to sleep that I don't want to get excited and then have her flop down on the side again. And just by looking at her eyes and her face, I don't think she's that awake just yet. Maybe getting there. Nice pretty tongue. What you doing? Child of the universe, you're wondering if leopards' coat is soft to the touch. Well, I don't find them. I actually find them quite coarse and they're actually not that nice. So you imagine such a gigantic fluffy thing, but they're not nice to touch. And the only reason why I've touched a leopard before is because when I used to work at our wildlife rehabilitation center, we got called into a farm, and the guy or the owner of the farm, pretty much, at least he was nice enough to give us the option to come and try to get this leopard that was killing our out of the farm. Or he would go and shoot it. So luckily we managed to set up a trap and then move it into the rehabilitation center, and then obviously all in line with the Department of Environmental Affairs and so on, and then we managed to find a new home for the leopard. But obviously when the leopard gets inside of the cage, it's not a happy animal, and then to be able to transport it and minimize the stress, then you dart it with a sedative so that to try and impact on it the least possible. So that was the time that I got to touch a leopard. Like I said, not that fluffy and not that soft, but I would imagine to live in this environment, they cannot really afford, third yawn, come on, cannot really afford to be that soft. Although there are still parts that are softer, we imagine behind the ears it's quite soft. That's why the ticks like it there. You scratch them out, girl. Now, normally when they start yawning a few times, it tends to push a little bit more oxygen into the system, sort of like to try and start awakening a little bit. So I'm hoping that this will be a good indication of the might want to start moving. Although, as we said, she's played me on this game before and I've always lost. So here's to hoping. No, well, I think at least she's had her head up for, 5 minutes? Getting there. We're getting there. I think this is looking promising. Assessing everything that's around her. We're getting there. Shame, you're still very hot in there. You're panting quite a lot, just moving like that. Beautiful, beautiful, clean teeth. You're looking nice, I must say. She is quite big. Like, she looks quite powerful. Scratchy, scratchy. Right, if you guys have got any questions or any comments that you would like to send through, remember you can use the hashtag Safari Live or send us the question using the YouTube chat. We'd love to hear from everyone, and as Brent Leo Smith would like to say, this is 100% live. So if you guys want to ask us any questions, please feel free to do it. Scratches her head. Paula, you're wondering if yawning doesn't actually mean that you're tired. Yes, it can mean that for us humans, but however, in the cats, and that's actually a good question as to why it works differently or what's the actual more detailed scientific version of it. But normally with cats and with lions and leopards, as soon as they start yawning, normally they go into a bout of grooming, and then after that they get a little bit active. So we've had her yawning for a little bit, just getting a little bit more active. Now she's starting to groom her paws, which is a very good indication, or it's at least gives it a bit of more hope that she's going to get up and then start moving and potentially go back to where she came from. That would be quite interesting. I wonder if perhaps when we get tired, we stop absorbing as much oxygen as what we normally do. I would have to actually go and research that more in detail from a biological perspective. Now, using her tongue out. Now, her tongue also to the touch is very similar to the one of a domestic dog or a domestic cat. It's very rough, and it almost acts as a comb. So when she's licking herself, she's getting rid of all the little things that might be in there, little pieces of grit, perhaps even some of the blood that was there. And then you see she's licking just exactly like a normal house cat. So she's licking that part, and then she pretty much uses her paw that's now being cleaned to try and rub anything else that might be either on her eyes or on her nose, her face, and just in general, all around those areas where her tongue cannot reach. I love it when cats put their paws like that. They look so sweet. Now, wonder what's got your attention over there. We've got some stretching, some yoga going on, trying to get the belly clean. I'm sure there is going to be a lot of little pieces of soil in there. She's been lying there the whole day, and mostly on her side. So I'm sure there are little pieces that are annoying to get rid of. I wonder what you're looking at. Nope, nothing. Just scratching. I really hope you do get that tick, because it seems to be annoying you quite a bit. Now, perhaps she scratched it there, and then she got it, and now she's taking it out. Getting rid of all the parasites. Nope, that tick is feisty. Dale, you're wondering if, because it's been raining, if cats would have to groom more. I reckon they would have to, not because of the rain itself, but because obviously it looses it. The rain causes a bit of the soil to loosen up. There are more things that can attach themselves, yes, to the animal, so they'll have to groom more just to make themselves clean, or to keep in a status that they would like, oh, I called it too soon. I that she stood up. Okay, I'm going to try and park where we were before, just to see if we can get a little bit of a better view of her, because it was actually, well, now she's facing in that direction. So I'm going to turn on the car and reposition, but while I do that, let's go back to Tristan, who is bumbling about in the bush. Well, we are very, very relaxed, enjoying the company of this female leopard, and you can tell that she is even more relaxed than us, because she is having a fat Saturday afternoons yet. No, I think she's probably also been very hot the rest of the day, and that particular spot where she's in, although it's a little bit tricky for us to see her, it's actually perfect for her, because not only is it under the cover of the trees, and she's right at the bottom of this tree, but also the beautiful part about it is that she's actually on the soil itself. She's not sitting on the grass, and I'm sure after getting everything getting properly soaked yesterday, that particular spot is actually very cool. So I'm sure she's there because she's getting the nice breeze. She's got the protection from the sun, but also the soil cooling her from the bottom. As you can see, every time that she raises her head, she is panting a little bit. So it's a good indication that she's actually a little bit hot. And you can see how quickly she's breathing. You see the white part of the stomach there going up and down very quickly. So pretty much to overdrive. And although it's not as bad as she portrays it to be, I cannot really tell how it would feel to have a very thick coat that's going to help me survive during the winter time as well. During the summer times. Pretty tail? You certainly know how to hide. I haven't seen you out in the open ever, and I've just seen her today in between the trees and the bushes. So she's actually doing a very good job. We're going to stick around with her because there's not much of the kill that's actually been eaten. So we are hoping that eventually, a little while later, she's actually going to go up the tree again and perhaps start feeding off it again, because if she does, the branch where she would go onto is perfect. We've just received a interesting story or anecdote from Xidulu that links her to pangolins. So James fed us a story that apparently the first sighting that, or one of the first sightings that anyone ever had with this particular leopard was of her and her mother, and while she was playing with the pangolin. So quite an unusual sight. They should have just called her pangolin then instead of Xidulu. Well, I think that makes it a full circle, a very interesting turn of events of how things have worked out for us on Pangolin Day. So thank you very much for sharing that story. I actually didn't know that, and it's quite interesting to then be able to link both things. Who knows, maybe today, I'm not putting any pressure on you when you wake up, but if you want to lead us to a pangolin, we would be quite grateful, as I would really, really like to see one again. I haven't seen one in the Sabi Sand in the longest time, ironically. So I cannot say are struggling in here. Actually, she's chosen a very good spot, and I feel quite silly because we drove this exact part of the road. So I wonder if she was actually seeing me. I want to try and believe that she actually went for water at one of the pans that's a little bit further east from where we are. But we're going to stick around here and definitely keep an eye on her, because the chances of her actually going up the tree a little later are very good. But also, according to the reports we received, the lions are not too far away. So it would be quite interesting. Tommy, you're wondering why she would store such a small kill up the tree. Well, it's idiosyncrasy or the personality of every individual leopard. Some of them love putting things on the trees and some of them don't. But the reason why they do it, even if it's such a small kill, is perhaps, and in this particular case, we know she was eating a steenbok this morning, which is a small species of antelope. So I'm sure she's probably not as full as she could be had she eaten an impala, but she still has enough food. So like, let's just put it up there so that she could return to it and eat it without having to worry about any scavengers, like, you know, any of the smaller cats, perhaps a jackal, perhaps lions, perhaps other leopards, from actual hyenas, of course, from actually coming and trying to steal it from her. I think in this particular area, hyenas are the biggest concern when it comes to leopards in terms of scavenging from one another. So in this particular area, leopards are well known, or at least some of them very well known, for trying to put their kills up trees just to prevent anything from getting to them. Now, in the spot where she is, I'm actually a little bit surprised also, because it would be a good place even for a bird of prey to try and scavenge from that kill, because she's not there. So who knows? I think maybe the fact that the scrub hair is of that particular color, and again, we apologize for all the poles and everything else, but this, even if the scrub hair, because the scrub hair is I can't speak, of that particular color, it also helps camouflage it a lot better. It's actually thanks to VM Vantage Point and his very keen eye that we managed to see it, because it almost looked like an extra bump on the tree. Hello, pretty girl, raising her head. We will have another card, Joy. We do have an elephant approaching the leopard. However, it seems like the elephant has now decided to be a little bit shy, and it's very hard to see him because unfortunately we are amongst quite thick foliage. But I'm going to shut up a little bit, and I think you'll be able to hear it crunching the leaves and moving around. Not making too much of a noise now, are you? Now, we're not too far away. I know this is not ideal, and we'll probably only get another view of it as it carries on moving. There we go. It's a little bit of a complicated one, but definitely there is an elephant moving around there. So we're about maybe, I'm not sure, 5 meters, 10 meters at most away from them. And Xidulu is still fast asleep, as you can as you can see there. She hasn't actually even moved, which is quite surprising. And the elephant, I don't think the elephant has even realized that the leopard is here. Still pretty much in that general direction and hasn't approached us, and I can't really see it anymore. And also, I don't want to move at this particular time because I don't want to either startle her or the elephant, because they are quite close to one another. Here we go. I think I saw some of the movement a little bit more to your right, perhaps. Tricky one. Tricky one. Right, so in worst case scenario, or what could happen in terms of action, is if the elephant realized and was annoyed by the presence of the leopard, likely he would come around and shake his ears and flap his ears and probably just trumpet and chase the leopard away, and I think very quickly she would retreat to safety. She might just go and hide behind some bushes or perhaps even go back to where her kill is. I do think that this elephant is, however, also partially asleep, as he hasn't really moved from where it was. We did hear a little bit earlier, and it sounded like perhaps it was drinking from one of the natural pans. So I think if she does go to quench her thirst at any point, she might bump into it because it's in direct path. And you can see we've got this particular bushes in front of us that do not allow us to see anything else. But I think just for everyone's safety, we're going to stay put here and just let the animals play it out. Or at least for the next little while, and then we'll reconsider if it's actually worth it and safe to reposition and move a little bit more. I feel like I'm almost going to fall out of the car. We are going to keep you guys posted as to what's going to be happening around here, and if action does unfold, then we'll for surely come back and let you guys share the action with us. But in the meantime, let's go to James, who's found another rhino. We have enjoyed her company very much, but we've decided to move to try and get a little bit of a different view of her and, of course, her beautiful rosettes. Now, the design of every leopard, as we know, or the pattern of the rosettes, is unique to every one of them. So I am hoping that if we stare at it enough, it will sort of imprint in my head and I'll be able to remember it. But she's had her head up and down a few times, and the elephant eventually moved away, didn't even notice that there was a leopard around here, which is incredible because, I mean, they were quite close. She probably didn't even notice, and if she knew while she was half asleep, she did not show us that. I am quite impressed at how big she is. She's actually quite like a bulky leopard. She's interesting. She actually reminds me a little bit of Tiani, and she's got very broad shoulders compared to perhaps some of the other female leopards that we've seen or that I've seen in the recent time. So it's quite interesting. I am hoping we're going to be quite patient, and we're going to play the patience game with her until she decides to get up and walk towards that marula. Hopefully she'll do it a little bit later on when the sun is starting to dip and we'll have that beautiful sky to accompany her on that marula. Because as we saw earlier on, that scrub here is in a very beautiful open marula. So that's very, very, very promising. So I hope I'm not going to jinx it. I would really like to see her go up there and do that. But for now, she's got the best spot in the house. She's also got like a very thick tail. I'm impressed at how big she is. And her eyes are very light. Almost remind me a bit of Anderson's eyes. Mariko, you're wondering what a rosette is. Well, rosette is the name that we give the spots. Now, if you look at the spots, you see that they almost resemble roses. It's by the pattern that they're arranged. So it's normally a darker spot in the middle and almost a circular pattern around that darker part. So that's why they're called rosettes. It's not a spot because it's not fully black inside. It's not a little circle, but rather a few spots in a round pattern all around the middle. So when we're talking about leopards, then we say that they have rosettes, which would be the proper word to utilize rather than spots. Now, I think, sorry guys, there is somebody that is trying to get into the sighting and to try and show the guest this beautiful leopard. And I think they're a little bit lost because they cannot really see them. So I'm just going to be on the radio for 2 seconds to try and direct them here. Andrew Ferrali. Andrew, is it you and Triple M? Okay, copy. Perfect. I think, luckily, the roof is making us quite visible. Standing by. Standing by. All right, seems like that's it for the radio chatter. Because we share this property, or we are in the reserve with many other vehicles, then we try to always be considerate and help each other out. It's a lot of teamwork, because some days we'll get lucky and we'll find what everybody wants to see, but some days somebody else will find what we want to see. So it's always good to share the sightings and to try and explain to people, because sometimes they get into quite tricky spots. Well, now, it's been lovely to actually see you with your head up again. Now, there's her chest, very, very broad. I am impressed at how big she is. Now, I just want to see you walking, because I've just seen you in between branches and leaves today. Nope. You're almost acting like a lion today. Very sleepy. Hello. Beautiful. Her stomach is also looking quite full, and I think maybe she hasn't gone back because she's probably still full from that steenbok that she had. But she had the opportunity to kill that scrub here, and then so she did, and she went for it, and she got lucky. So which means that actually she's done the work for probably the next day or so. So she is quite lucky in that regard. And as it shows, leopards and lions and pretty much all of the predators that we have around here are opportunistic animals. So a lot of the times we just assume that they're going to go for bigger things, or when they're done with a kill that they'll be happy and then they just won't be that interested in hunting. But here we have proof that if the right moment presents itself, then they are definitely going to try and go for that, just so that they don't have to do it later. And we were actually discussing this earlier on. I think they eat a lot more smaller things than what we give them credit for, because I mean that little steenbok and that little scrub here won't last her for that long. Rika, you're wondering if she could be pregnant. Well, she's mated with a hukumuri male, as far as I know, so there could be a chance that she is indeed pregnant, but that will only start showing in the next few months. Their gestation period is about 3.5 months, and I think she mated probably about, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago or so. So just under a month, if my recollection of time is not wrong. But I think the fat belly that we're looking at today is actually her just being full of meat and full of food, rather than her actually having any little kittens in there. They would still be too small to really pop out like that. But definitely there could be a chance. She's not mating anymore, so normally it would be a good thing. I am very puzzled about where I'm going to send you, but I think James is with Thomas the bird. So let's go and find out who Thomas the bird is. It is indeed James. She's we're hoping that she's actually going to get up soon enough. I mean, it is starting to cool down. She did sort of looked at us, yawn a little bit, and then she went back down. So normally when they start yawning, there's a little bit of hope that get up and do. I think, however, that we're going to still have to stick around here for a while longer before she decides to do anything. I mean, she is probably still very full and she's got the best spot, so I wouldn't move either. And I think she had quite the interesting afternoon, because on the tree where she was actually this morning, or well, where she spent the night, where we saw her yesterday, about maybe 2-3 meters away from that tree, or just south of the tree, is exactly where all of the buffaloes crossed and then the lions crossed. So I think she was probably on of the night just watching all of this commotion and all of these creatures moving around. So maybe that's part of the reason why now she's recovering from a night where probably she didn't sleep as much as she should have, just out of stress. Because imagine watching a crowd of, I don't know, about 9 lions and 3 male lions walking not too far from where you are, and there you are on a tree just holding on to dear life and onto your kill, just trying to be invisible. Clearly she did a very good job, as she is still with us today. So and she ate all of her kill. New one. It's always a game of wishful thinking when you find a cat that's sleeping and someone's like, come on. We know that we hope that you had a very wonderful sleep. However, we would like to see you go up that marula. That would be pitch perfect, cherry on top. Would absolutely love it, and it would make a lot of us happy. But as it is with nature, everything goes at its own time, and we actually have absolutely no control over what they do, when they do it, or why they do it. We can only hope to sort of understand the reasoning behind it. It's been so interesting watching the leopard dynamics that have been happening in Djuma for the last few months. It really has been, just seeing where Hosanna's been hanging out, and then Tamba and then Hukumuri coming, and that, I'm sure that's really thrown a spanner in the wheels, as some people would say, just because it seems that everything was quite settled for a very long time, and then all of a sudden when Karula disappeared, then we started seeing Tundi and Shadow a lot more, and then they moved into areas where necessarily see them that much before, but then we got used to seeing them there. And then the Hukumuri male came around, and then of course both of them having their cubs, now they have to retreat and go into other areas where they think this male will not venture, or perhaps will not venture as far, just to try and protect their cubs. But then we've had young male leopards also sneaking around this area, trying to stay out of trouble, because you're probably not as strong as some of the bigger male leopards around here. And then, you know, we've got this beautiful female that we hadn't seen before, or I hadn't seen before. We could as much also venturing a little bit more into our property. So it's been quite an interesting shift in all the dynamics, and it just proves that as soon as you believe that something is settled and it's going to remain a particular way for a while, then all of a sudden, poof, something will happen and everything starts changing. It's almost like, you know, Game of Thrones in the leopard world. Hopefully not as bloody or as cruel. Queen Xidulu just sleeping now. Now, she's in quite of a tricky spot. I don't know, it's just hard to get to her and try and get a better visual. As you can see, she's very well protected all around her. So she's got a bunch of quarries and a bush willow all around her that are not making it easy for us to have a view. But I feel like if we stay here and we are patient for a little while longer, we'll be rewarded by her probably walking into the sunset and then on top of the marula. At least that's what I'm hoping for, especially after this morning where we drove all of this area just trying to find her, and there she was. Also, I just want to see how big you are compared to other female leopards. It will be quite interesting to put that comparison into my head. Annie, you're wondering if all the leopards that I just mentioned that we were talking about, if they're in the Mara or in Djuma. I'm referring to the leopards in Djuma. I'm currently in Djuma in the Sabi Sand, so I have never been to the Mara, so the dynamics of the leopards are in the Mara. In this particular spot of the world, though, because we've had, or the Sabi Sand and the lodges have been around for about, I would say, maybe 50, 60 years, leopards have grown very habituated to cars and vehicles, and as long as you respect certain rules, then they have been allowing us to see all this incredible dynamics and just witness them. It's by far one of the most interesting soap operas that I could ever witness. Yeah. Many characters coming into play. Even when all of them come in and then old characters exit the scene, new ones come along. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I think this particular area, Djuma and the northern Sabi Sand, I always say that I've never seen anything quite like it. I've never seen so many leopards in a specific area. And I've worked in other parts of the Sabi Sand, but what you see up here is just very, very special. We are lucky to be able to share it with everyone on a daily occasion. Manage to find them, because not every day do we get lucky with the leopards either. I'm hoping all these breeze, perhaps one of the branches is going to annoy her. Child of the universe, you're wondering if she came into this area because she was following Hukumuri. Well, there has been some talk of that happening. She normally doesn't venture into this much, but she was seen with the Hukumuri male roughly around this area. But again, the dynamics are shifting, so I think now that she's gotten to know this area a little bit further, and it's virtually empty from other female leopards occupying this particular spot, because Tundi or Shadow do not venture this far north, then perhaps she's found herself a little spot that has not been claimed, and she might try and stick around here more than what she used to. Would certainly be nice to have another female leopard around, especially if she is pregnant and would potentially allow us the possibility of seeing her cubs if she does have them in the next few months. Almost like in the next 6 months. Well, maybe not as much, but in the next while. It seems like there's something that's bothering her. At least a fly. Almost looks like a forest. Susie, you're wondering if Hukumuri can smell the scent of another male if they've been scent marking. Yes, for sure. That is part of the reason why males scent mark. Oh, smell weakness in another male. Sorry, I got part of the question wrong. No, I don't think they'll be able to smell the weakness per se if a male is not healthy or anything like that. I do think that what they'll pick up on is on the fact that a specific area hasn't been scent marked in quite a while. So I think maybe that's why Tingana has been a little bit ill as of late. He has best condition and he hasn't been marking or scent marking or calling as much as he used to. So I think the Hukumuri male has actually picked up on the fact that this particular area hasn't been patrolled for a while. So it could indicate that perhaps there isn't a leopard there. So he's going to start claiming it. So I would say that's my guess. He doesn't know that Tingana is weak, but he's picked up on the fact that there's nobody here to come and challenge him. So as long as there's nobody here to really challenge him, then he's going to carry on pushing. And that in this storm, Tingana has managed to make a kill, though, so that he'll recover and be a little bit fuller than when we last saw him. Almost like you, Xidulu. Would be nice to see Tingana full again like you. Seems like her breathing has calmed down. She's not as hot as what she was before. It's not going as quickly as it used to be. Belly food of steenbok and potentially a little bit of hair. And hair. No, I think it's time for you to start moving. I think it's going to start raining. Still have a while, but it will still be lucky enough. While we still have a lot of time to spend with this leopard while we wait for her to actually get up, let's head back to James with the last views of the Mara, at least for now. Well, I'm sure James has been excited to share that one last look for now of the Mara, and we are still pretty much here, sitting tight, waiting to move. Now, I think I'm now going to start sending more good vibes onto hers to see if perhaps she will decide to get up, because it is getting a bit long now. I think we've been on the patience game for about 2 hours or so. 1 hour? Yeah, 1 hour and a half. And I am not the most patient person, but when it comes to cats, I think that's probably the best teaching we can get from leopards and lions. If you want to see amazing things, you've got to be willing to spend a long time with them. Laughing, I was saying to Tristan before we departed from Game Drive, because he was asking me, do you want to follow up on Tamba? Do you want to do something else? Do you want to go follow up on Xidulu? And I can be quite stubborn, so I said to him that I was going to come back to Xidulu because I was going to find her now that I got the report right, because this was not on. And then he started making fun of me and telling me that, you know, it's the way that I talk to the leopards, that I've got to treat them nicely, and I've got to sugarcoat what I say to them the same way that he does when he speaks to them. I think he might have lost his mind already, but it clearly works for him. So I tried it this. There she is. I think this worked out a little bit better. So maybe that's the secret of the leopard whisperer, the way he actually whispers to the leopards. Right, so she has gotten up. Go, maybe we just... No, don't climb the tree the other way. Go this way. Yes. Amazing. Perfect. Definitely worth all of our patience and all this waiting, even though it seems like a headless leopard for now. There we go. Stunning. How is that for a perfect afternoon with a cat? I think we just hit the pot of gold with you. Incredible. And on a marula tree. Yes. I'm very happy now that we waited as long as we waited, because this is definitely a rewarding sight. You have gone from lying down to lying down the whole day. From the tree to the hare to the mound to the tree again. Now, you can see the scrub hair is there on the left-hand side, and I would assume that she's going to start feeding off of it quite soon. So if you find that this is going to be perhaps a little too much for you, we do encourage you to perhaps look away or go and make a cup of tea, perhaps pour yourself a little bit of apple juice. What a stunning setting. With the dark sky in the background, and as the sun's starting to set and the colors starting to drift a little bit for now, this is beautiful. This really, really is a precious sight. You're looking very regal there on your perch. Well, you say it was effortless for her to climb up the tree. I think so too. It's almost like, oh, I do this every day. Let go, puff, 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 here I am. Just proves that how much climbing trees is a part of their life. When we see a lion, or if we were to see a lion climbing the tree, I reckon it wouldn't be as smoothless and as effortless. They're a little bit too heavy, and it's not ideal. Now, I am hoping that she's going to turn her head around us for a little while, but there are cars coming, obviously, onto the main road that would like to see her. So I think she's just a little bit curious as to what's going on. But luckily, we've got the advantage of being able to go into both sides, and I think good enough to us. So we're going to stick around here, and hopefully she'll move around and then just show us her face again, so we can get a nice, beautiful screenshot of her on top of the marula tree. I'm sure it's a lot cooler up there as well. Ah, beautiful. Doesn't get any more leopardy than this, I should say. Leopard on a tree, fit dangling, marula. What a perfect setting. I love it when things work out. And I'm surprised she chose actually such an exposed branch compared to where she was this morning. First Lady, you're wondering if perhaps Tamba's establishing his territory in the absence of Tingana. Well, he's definitely looking for an area where to stay, but normally when male leopards are young, they become nomadic for a little while until they manage to succeed and stay in a particular area. Now, I think the fact that Tingana hasn't been around could also be the reason why he's pushing a little bit further into Djuma, which he hasn't been, but he's also been going into some of the neighboring properties, and he's been going further and further away. And I think he's going to try and stay in an area where he feels that, thank you for lying with your head this side. And I think he's going to try and stay he's going to try and stay clear of trouble, clear of any possible male leopard around. But I think the fact that that Tingana hasn't been there has played an important role. I for sure hope that he's going to try him and Hosanna. I don't want them to go anywhere. I want them to stick around this area. Now, I don't know if it'll be possible. Leopard dynamics are ever changing, but you know, a girl can dream. And certainly one can dream on top of a tree by the looks of it. You are so hot, aren't you? She's not particularly hungry. She knows that she can get to her kill whenever she's feeling like it. And then she's gonna... I wonder if perhaps she wasn't actually getting a little bit too hot where she was earlier, because it seems like her breathing has slowed down. There's a scrub here. Almost dangling, you see, so it looks almost like part of the tree. Now, she isn't breathing as quickly as she was before. So I think the wind is helping her all the way up in that marula branch that she's in. But if the clouds carry on settling in, I'm not too sure it's going to be the best place for her to be when the rain comes. She'll get quite wet. Maximus, you're wondering if leopards ever eat any plant matter. Well, they can, just like normal house cats do, and it's believed that they do it perhaps out of necessity, in the terms that perhaps they're missing some sort of bacteria or enzyme that they can only get through feeding off plant materials. I think you won't see them actually eating flowers or trees or anything, sometimes just to purge themselves, as we see the cats doing. But the plant material that they have access to, or the one that you would see them eating every now and again, it's plant material, which is what you would find inside of the stomach of some of the herbivore species, particularly of the antelope that we get in this area. So they might feed off of that for a little while. Like I said, if their system needs certain bacteria or gut bacteria that they might be lacking for whatever reason. But no, they mainly carnivores and feed on meat. You are loving it, aren't you? I know, I'm too. Goldie, you happy? Yep. We're all quite happy right now. Paws dangling. Not a bad Saturday afternoon. Not bad at all. And I think, okay, I'll take it that we couldn't find her this morning because it's certainly been made up right now just to be able to see her up there. And I must say, one of my favorite things is just seeing leopards with all four paws hanging on the branches of the tree. I've tried to lie like that before just to see how it would feel. I'm not that comfortable. So the fact that they love it always makes me laugh. Amy, you're wondering if leopards still climb trees when they're heavily pregnant. Well, yes, they can. Sometimes it becomes a little bit more of a problem, perhaps not as effortless as it can normally be, but yes, definitely. And even the little ones, from a very young age, they'll start trying their luck in climbing trees and stumps and so on to develop the skills that they need to then be able to boop, 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 go all the way up the tree. She is very puzzled about, I'm sure, all the people just below her. Well, not just below her, but in the distance, further down from where she is. Such a curious cat. Oh, there we go. Oh, are you being lazy now? Blue, you're wondering what the normal body temperature of a is. I'm actually not too sure. I would imagine it's something around 36 degrees Celsius like humans, but I've actually got no clue. I cannot say for certain. I would imagine that is. I think it might be a little lower, but I will have to double check and let you know. Actually, not quite sure. That's an interesting question. Gotta go and research a lot of biological things. Seems like Tristan hasn't been find his leopard, which we're feeling really sorry for, but let's go over to him and find out maybe he knows what the leopard's temperature actually is, a body temperature is. Well, she is now. She unfortunately dropped her kill. So I think she's looking for it, and she's just sniffing around, and I'm sure that as soon as she manages to get it, she'll probably go up. So we're going to sit around here, just hope for her to actually move, and then I can... Okay, seems like she's got it. She's got the kill once more. And, yeah, it's a little bit thick at the bottom. There we go. We can see the tail. There she goes. Where are you going to go now? Are you going to try and climb again from where you were? Let me just... Should we try and dash in? Alright. I'll try and go around, see if maybe we'll see her wherever she might go. Just wait for us for 1 second. Lovely creature. There we go. Okay. There we go. There she is. Whoop. First attempt. Didn't really work out. Seems like the scrub hair fell on her head. And I'm sure she's going to try and do it again. Oh, are you taking defeat by the marula? I think maybe she's just looking what's her easier way up. Yeah, not ideal. I'm sure you'll be fine now. The kill is right where her mouth is, so she might try and pick it up again. I am hoping that she try and eat it down at the bottom. It would be wonderful to see her put it up again. And I think what happened is she didn't take her impulse quite the way that she should have. And then the scrub hair actually, because of the way she was grabbing it, half of her body actually flapped onto her head. And then I think that threw her a little bit of balance. And then she decided it was easier to come down. Maybe try again. It's almost like you scratch all the time. Righty, girl. we have faith in your climbing abilities. We were just complimenting you a few minutes ago. There we go. While we wait for her, Joy, you did manage to send us through the leopard's body temperature, which is 38.3 degrees Celsius, which is actually, I was entirely wrong. I thought it was less than a human, and it's actually higher than a human, which is quite interesting. And thank you very much for... Here she goes. Amazing. How cool was that? Well done, girl. Now you can enjoy your meal in the safety of the tree, where probably nothing will get to you, unless you drop it again. Lucky for her, there aren't any hyenas lurking about, so that's probably a good thing, because in the time that she, or from where she is, if she drops it, and had it been a hyena down at the bottom, I'm sure the hyena would have got it very quickly. Because it's a bit of a smaller kill in the sense that it's not as big as an impala, I'm sure it's also helped in having the skill go unnoticed. Alright, now you're hungry. You've had it easy, really, the last few days. These marulas on the side of the road have actually been really good for you. And I wonder, normally the scrub hares during the day, they are hiding in very thick bush, and they just pretty much where they spend their time. So I think maybe she flushed it, or the little scrub hare got a bit of a fright and then ran away, and that's when she had the chance to pounce her. Now, I think that she not fed on this scrub hare at all. It doesn't seem like it's open. You see what she's doing now? She's trying to get rid of all the fur to then be able to get to the skin, to then try and get the skin open. It can get a little bit gruesome of what she's about to do. So like I mentioned earlier, if you find that this is a little bit too much for you, please you don't have to look at it. You can just, like I said, go and make yourself a cup of tea and then come back in a little while. Now for those of you that can stomach this sighting, oh my goodness, are you going to climb higher? Oh, okay. Somebody's brave. There we go. She's going to climb higher. Whoop. Probably onto this area, you feel a little more safe, don't you? There, you won't be as exposed as you were on that branch. I think now she's choosing all her different spots. I'm just going to move a little bit back. Okay, now that she's moved and she's chosen the spot, now we can see her again. Beautiful. We're going to do an unscheduled broadcast to invite a lot of people to this sighting, so I'm just going to be quiet for the next few minutes while everything else is set up. Welcome everyone, all the way from the Greater Kruger National Park. We are in the Sabi Sand. We are enjoying the company of a female leopard. My name is Ali, and on camera today is VM, and we are very excited to be showing this particular event that's happening live as we speak. If you've got any comments or any questions, please feel free to send them through using the hashtag Safari Live, or just post them on the comment section below, which would probably be more appropriate. Now, we are looking at this beautiful leopardess. She made a kill earlier this morning, and what she's eating is a scrub hare. Now, if you find this, or if you feel like you cannot really stomach what we're, you don't have to watch. But for those of you that like to, she just climbed the tree again after dropping her kill, and she's just started to feed off of it. There you see the scrub hare there, and she's just started to try and take all of the fur out of the scrub hare so that she can get to the skin, and then from the skin actually get to the meaty parts, which is really what she wants. Now, she was in a lower branch of the tree, but you can see it's very windy, and the branch where she was very exposed to the elements, and it does seem that we're going to have quite a big thunderstorm coming on later on. So I think that she's actually just this particular branch for safety. She probably feels a little bit more secure up there. Now, it's amazing how the kill even camouflages with the rest of the tree. It almost looks like a part of the tree. And you can see that she, I would have thought that you would have carried on eating after all the effort that it was to put it back on, but it seems like she's taking her chance, or her time, actually. Wild Dog, you're wondering if this is Xidulu. Yes, this is a female that we know as Xidulu, which means termite mound, and she is a followed character around this particular area, and we are lucky to see her often as she's one of the relaxed leopards that we have in this particular part of the world. Dawn, you're wondering how old this leopard is. Well, if my calculations are not wrong, apparently 4 years old or so. So she's actually been seen mating not too long ago with the male. So we're hoping that in the near future we'll also have some of her little cubs running around. Seems like all that effort mattered. Stevie, you're wondering how far can a leopard jump from a tree? Well, she could drop from where she is now all the way down to the ground, and I'm sure she would be able to fall and not hurt herself, which is, I would say, probably about 2-3 meters. Probably be quite a drop, but I'm sure she would be fine after that. I've seen them drop perhaps from that same height. It's not ideal, but they could. Leopards always fall on their feet, as normal cats do. There we go, bringing the kill a little bit closer. I think she's trying to move as little as possible. Stevie, you're commenting that you never thought that they would pluck the hair out of the animals that they prey upon. They do often, and they will do this with all the species of antelope and scrub hares and even birds. When they catch the birds, they just take the layers out, so they would get the feathers or the hair out to then try to cut through the meat to get to the bones and internal organs and everything else. I think being up there has put her a bit on edge. Josh, you're wondering what is the biggest thing that a leopard could eat? Well, it depends on the leopard. If the leopard is, the bigger the leopard, the bigger his prey species can be. So we have a species of antelope around this area that can weigh, I'm going to say perhaps 150 to 100 kilograms, like the water bugs and the kudu, the female of this particular. And I've seen leopards, particularly big male leopards, successfully bring down these animals. Sometimes it does play a role in the fact that if the antelope is a little bit sick or weakened, then it might be easier for them. But they normally go for medium-sized antelopes that, or, smaller creatures that range between 60 to 70 kilograms or so. I would put that as their average. Beautiful. We are going to carry on spending some time with her, so if you want to spend this time with us and see what else she gets up to, you're more than welcome to Google Safari Live, and I'm sure you will be able to find us as we carry on spending some time with her. Well, hello everyone once more. It was very exciting to see her go up and then jump again. Ooh, are you going to go down now? I don't know if maybe she's scouting for a better branch. It almost seems like she's not fully convinced of the one that she's in, and maybe she's looking for a branch that's a little bit thicker for her to actually be able to eat a little bit more comfortably. Now, where are you going? I don't think she's going to climb down. I mean, perhaps she'll go and choose another marula. Nope. Oh my. All right, I think she's probably just still very full and doesn't have to eat right now, so she's making us work it. Right, I think we're gonna try and maybe go around, and we're gonna go around this way. Noriko, all of the branches that she's in can handle her weight, and funny enough, I've seen leopards on branches that I'm pretty sure that they're gonna fall from, and they seem to just be able to distribute their weight in a way that obviously keeps them afloat. However, I have also seen them falling off branches of trees because they haven't calculated things right. Now I'm going to go around. We're going to be able to see her face from where we are, as it's not quite easy with all the different branches of the tree. While we reposition, we are going to head back to Tristan, who has left his vultures, but I wonder what else he's after this afternoon. Full view. Although it is also getting quite windy up here, I don't think the rain's going to hit us just as soon, so hopefully it'll just stay away from us for the next little while. More yawning. I think maybe this dropping of the kill and then putting it back up was a little bit too much for her, and then choosing the branches, so it's quite a tiresome affair, and, well, if you have a full belly, not ideal. But she is gazing intently just to the south from where we are, so I wonder if perhaps from her vantage point she can see something that we cannot. Would be interesting. And VM and I were just commenting, it would be quite interesting to see what happens during the night, because the lions could very well, exactly where we stand, which is be, what is that, like 3-4 meters from where we are to the tree, could come walking back onto Djuma if they decide to use, for example, the same path, should they be after some buffalo. So maybe she's going to have another entertaining evening from up above, just watching how everything unfolds below. That would be quite funny. I think she's looking a little bit irritated now at the wind. Most animals don't really like the wind, and where she is, obviously, is not as sheltered by the branches, so maybe there's too much wind coming her way. But you are intently looking in that direction. We've tried to see what it is. I don't know if maybe she can see impala in the distance, perhaps elephants even. Not too sure. But you see how she's quickly like turning and moving around, so she definitely can hear something or see something that we're not aware of. Alright, but I think you've got a very good spot up there, so nothing will be you without you knowing. And even if a lion were to come around and climb the tree, I think she would be way too quick, either to go all the way up to the top of the tree or just to drop and run away from any potential tree climber that she might find. Although it seems like she's actually got herself almost like really nicely nestled in there. She's got her bum against the tree, and then she's got her paw on the nub of the tree. I think it's a very good bet. I think she's sorted in there. Yeah, I think she's happy with her spot. It's amazing how they manage to get themselves into these positions on the trees and then just find the most odd positions, but that just seem to work for them. And that's another thing that I will never understand. It's how cats, or why cats actually love sleeping with almost like their head just way below the rest of their body. It almost seems like they're going to come crashing down, but they don't. Like to fall head first. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm curious as to what you can see. I do hear more cars in the distance, so I wonder if perhaps that's what's got her attention. But they are normally so habituated to the vehicles that I doubt that she would be all that interested in us. Alrighty. Are you going to carry on? You've had a very, very easy few days, even with all the rains. She's been one of the lucky ones. Right, I think that Tristan's going to have the last few views of the Ellies before we have to switch to IR, so let's go over to him and hopefully get a little bit of sunlight. Well, she is definitely unfazed about the lions. There are no lions around us. They are not too far. They're coming not too far from where we are, but hopefully they'll go their way. Oh, hello. And they'll go their way, and she'll stay her own way. And Tristan actually will be able to keep his roof on. I don't really want him to lose a roof. That wouldn't be ideal. Now, if you're wondering strange coloration, we are using an infrared light and our infrared technology just to be able to follow the animals at night. Now, what did you hear? You are walking with a lot of intent, and you were facing in this same direction, and you are definitely up to something, and I wonder what it is. And I really hope that by the end of today, you manage to get rid of that tick that is clearly annoying you. It's been annoying you the whole day. Now, see how she's walking? She is actually moving around, very steadily into a certain direction, and she's a little bit wary. You see how she's... She's listening intently into something. What is there around here that you're looking at? Now, she's right in front of our vehicle, so I'm not going to move. But we are going to try and follow her and see what it is that she's investigating. I wonder if perhaps there isn't another female leopard around. See how she is, or perhaps she spotted another potential prey? She's doing a proper leopard walk right now. Being very still. I have no idea what she can see, but she's treading very carefully, trying not to make a sound. Welcome everyone. We are whispering at the moment because we are in the presence of a leopardess that seems to be hunting. She climbed down from where she had a tree stashed in a kill stashed in a tree, and now she's walking very carefully. If you're wondering about the coloration we're looking at or that's coming through your screen, that's because we are using infrared light that will not whatsoever on what we're seeing unfold. Now, my name is Ali, and on camera with me is BM. And if you want to send any comments or questions, you can do so by using the comment question on the platform that you're viewing us on. Now, it is quite a windy afternoon. There's a lot of breeze, and it seems like we're going to get rained upon, and she is steadily walking in that direction. Now, like we said, she was gazing in that general. I think I saw another scrub hare running around here. And funny enough, what she stashed up on the tree was a scrub hare already. So I don't really want to move right now. I don't want to go around and see what she's eating and what she's looking at until she decides where to go, because we obviously don't want to spoil this situation either for the predator or for the potential prey species. She was walking very stalking whatever it is, walking very carefully, treading light. I think whatever it is that she saw perhaps has moved away from where she is right now. Doesn't seem like she's or as intent as what she was a few moments ago. Now, there's the definite possibility that she was hunting Trish. I think that she definitely spotted something amongst those thickets that she's watching. Definitely something in there. What? I'm not too sure. We've been trying to figure it out, but very hard to see. Becca, you're wondering how many times a day do leopards eat? Well, if they've got a very good meal, they can just eat it throughout the day. But if not, then they don't. If they have a very big kill, then they don't have to eat more than once a day. Hello, beautiful leopard. I think perhaps the hunting is not as intense as it was a few moments ago. I think whatever it is that she was looking at has managed to sneak away from her. She is still very much alert. You can see by the way that she's pointing her ears, and she hasn't moved. She's still looking in that direction. So whatever that was in there, I'm sure she hopes will be back in there. You see her eyes or her ears are constantly twitching. We're going to carry on with this leopard, see what else she gets up to, and if she does indeed manage to make a kill. So if you want to carry on watching with us, Google Safari Live and you'll be able to see us there. Thank you everyone for allowing me to be quiet. And I think it's also a very good sense of what's going on here. Everything we can hear is the wind. And she's not moving, she's not making any. And I'm pretty sure I saw another scrub hare just coming around the bushes. But I'm not too sure this scrub hare has actually seen her. And for her to have actually seen a scrub hare all the way from the marula where she was in, it's just proof of how incredible their eyesight is. I don't think she's given up just yet. There's probably something hiding around there. And as I was mentioning earlier on, scrub hares do spend their time in very thick bush. And roughly at this time, they start coming out and start moving around. They don't live in burrows like, for example, bunnies do. And they have more nocturnal habits than what perhaps a normal bunny would do. She's not giving up. There is still something there that's catching her eye. Perhaps she's just trying to find it again. Perhaps it's moved a little bit. See, this goes to show that they are extremely opportunistic animals. She had a kill. She came down. She killed a scrub hare. Now she's got a scrub hare kill on the marula been in, and then she still saw the opportunity to catch something, and then she came down and tried to pursue that opportunity. I think this girl means business. I think maybe if you're starting to groom, it might be that, you've decided that the scrub hare was the one that got away. Yep. Okay. Well, that was a very, thrilling moment. So thank you for trying to hunt for us. I wonder if you're gonna go back to the tree now. Incredible, really, really incredible that she managed to see that all the way from the tree. Seems like Tristan has managed to find the spot where the lions are going to cross, so who knows, we'll get lucky. So let's go over to him and perhaps see the lions as well. Right, so she's now decided that at least one scrub is enough, and she's carried on plucking the hair and tried to eat it. At one point, she was carrying it around as well, and it seemed like she was going to jump onto another branch. I think this wind, she's not liking it all that much, but she knows that where she is probably the safest spot. Perhaps she might even later on try to move into a tree that's a little bit thicker, so more leaves, more foliage on the top, and where she would be a little bit more protected from the rain. But for now, I think she is finally digging into her scrub, just trying to pull all the hair out. And then once she's done with that, then I'm sure she will finally be able to have a bite. She's been quite an indecisive leopard this afternoon, and I can't believe that she went down for another scrub hair even though she had one all the way up there. I would imagine that that's what leopards feel like when they have multiple baby impala kills up a tree. They're like, oh, I've got this one. Oh, but I can also have that one. I just want them all. Now, I think we're just gonna wait and sit still where we are, as she might either again drop the kill, but there will be absolutely no view for us if we go around the tree because of the amount of branches that there are on the other side. So I think we've got the best seat in the house for the time being, so let's just give her a bit of a chance to perhaps turn her head around this side. We can see that she's definitely still busy with it. Not the biggest kill. I would be surprised if she's actually here tomorrow. But it would be a good spot to start looking for her. At least we know where she is and where to start looking, which is normally the hardest thing with leopards. You can almost have an idea and then try and take it from there. But it doesn't always work. Yep, she's still plucking the hair, still tugging at it. I think you've chosen quite a nice marula. Well done. Now, it seems like we are going to get a huge thunderstorm today. We have a lot of lightning around. I don't think she's either going to stay there for too long. You see all the dark cloud cover at the back? Well, it's predicted that we're going to have rain or at least overcast weather conditions for the next week. So, it's going to be an interesting time, but I think that leopards will be very well fed. Seems like the lions, though, they haven't been as lucky as they've been trailing this herd of buffalo, but they haven't come right just yet. Rosettes. Look at the wind. Look how it's howling on the branches behind her. All the leaves going crazy. It's actually very brave of you to be up there. I would be afraid of the wind knocking me down, which I'm sure happens every now and again. It is super windy indeed. I think I can even hear some elephants in the distance. I wonder if perhaps she could also see them from where she is. Definitely something that got her attention. Nope, carried on eating. I think maybe what she's trying to do now, she realized what's coming her way, so she might try to eat as much as she can, as quickly as she can, just in case she's got to abandon this kill, I would assume. There we go. Now, she's definitely plucked the hair, and this side motion that she's doing is she's trying to cut through the skin. So the teeth of the carnivores are arranged in a way that it allows them almost to work as a pair of scissors. So she's using her side teeth to try and, well, she's putting her head sideways to try and cut through the skin to then be able to get to everything that's underneath the skin. But in order for her to be able to do so, first she's got to pluck all the hair out. But I think now she's getting to the meat part, which is really what she's after. Yeah, there we go. Must be tough try to maneuver such a small prey species with their mouth. I'm sure it requires a lot of patience on her side too. Right, maybe a little bit more hair there. Right. Let's see. Let's head back to Tristan and see if the lions would like to be on the show today or not. I certainly hope so. Carried on coming steadily, because then we will get the two cats for the morning. And, you know, she sort of escaped from us in the morning the second time around, and then the lions definitely crossed. So I'm very happy to know that in the afternoon we have a real possibility of actually seeing them again. Now, I think that Xidulu means business. She has now started devouring her kill, and she's been eating very, very quickly, and now she's using, as you see now, we've seen almost like the 3 phases of the feeding. She's using her very thick and rough tongue to try and get the meat off of the bone. So that's why she's licking it like that, and you see there's a little bit more hair there that she's trying, oh, no, that was not hair, sorry about that, that she actually wants to chew. I don't think that she's going to stay off this tree for too much longer. I think she's just going to finish this kill as quickly as she can, and then she might just come down and choose a spot either to carry on hunting. As we saw, she's already more than capable of, even if she's had a very good meal. And I am sorry about this. This is a little bit gruesome, so I apologize for that. But like I said, I think she's going to come down and either she's going to try and hunt that scrub here again, or she's going to go somewhere else. Oh, I am terribly sorry. It's almost like eating pasta. Alrighty. And then in that wonderful note, we're going to leave her to her dinner. But thank you everyone for waiting with us the whole afternoon for her to go up. I think the views of her and the marula were definitely worth it, and I will be saying goodbye to you guys and Xidulu, and I'm sure Tristan will keep you guys entertained, hopefully with some lions.